Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Tank Academy with Fubzy. In this edition we are going to be looking at mod packs, get me words out there, what they do, how they help you and what you need to be looking for. So first thing I'm going to point out, because I know I've had a few questions about this, the mod pack that I use is Solo's mod pack. Now I will link this in the description for you. It's a fantastic mod pack. It's very easy to install and to tweak to use however you want to do it. And there's lots and lots of useful features in there. But as I say, you can pick and choose what you want, where you want it displayed on your screen, and it's fantastic. And Solo himself does a fantastic job. Whenever there's an update to the game, your mods will stop working, and Solo, to all his credit, will put those mods back in with an updated version very quickly. So we're going to run through the mods here whilst we're playing. This is a game in the AMX 1390, and although it's not a fantastic damaging game, just keep an eye on what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why you think I'm doing it, and then when we look at the end screen at the end, there's a little surprise for you. There's a surprise for me. It's not something I've seen before, but don't want to spoil that. So onto the mod pack then. As you can see on the team screens, the players' names are in different colours, so it gives me an idea of what I can expect from that player. So our M103 Type 64, that's called Object 430. As you can see, they're green players. There's a couple more as well. There's some on the enemy team, so we know they're going to be good players. We have a blue player in our T37, so I know he's going to be quite good as well. We then have a red player in the Black Prince, so I know that that's perhaps a player that struggles. It's not going to be as effective as some of the others, and this kind of gives you an idea of, when you look at your mini map and you can see who you've got around you, how much you can rely on that person. If you've got good players around you, you know that they're going to help you out. You're going to be able to perhaps be a little bit more aggressive than normal. If you've got red, orange players around you, then you know that perhaps you might have to help them out. You might have to play a little bit more cautiously. But, you know, don't get too carried away with things. It's just an idea. As I say, my name in this shows as yellow, showing that I'm an average player. But in actual fact, my WN8 score and my win rate has come up massively recently. So I'm playing at a green level most of the time now. So it's not a hard and fast rule. The player that we've got that's red might actually be playing at blue. You never know. The player that we've got that's blue could be having an absolute stinker of a day, and he could be playing at red. So it's just a rough guide. Now, moving on from that, also on the team screens you can see that the tanks are not just labelled as a tank, that they're colour coded as well. So the grey ones are heavy tanks, the blue ones are tank destroyers, the yellow ones, as you can see on the enemy team there, are mediums, and the green ones are light tanks. So it gives you also a very quick overview on the team screen of what kind of tank makeup you've got. At the very top of the screen there, you can see that we have a hit point bar. So this shows us not only how many tanks we have left on each team, it also shows us how many hit points the team has. So as you can see, we've now got over 12,500. They've got just over 11,000. So it shows that we're actually winning by some margin in terms of hit points as well as tanks. This is useful because sometimes you might be down by 3 or 4 tanks, but you might actually be up in terms of hit points. They might just have quite a few tanks that have escaped on very few hit points left. You also have, just to the right of that, just up here, we have a WN8 counter, which shows you what your estimated current WN8 is. To the side of that, we have something else that shows you how much damage you need to get in order to move up your WN8 onto the next colour scheme. This one here, I believe, is to do with high caliber, showing you how much damage you would need in order to get the high caliber medal. This one here is my hitbox. Again, some of these things you can replace or move around. That's my hitbox, so it shows me what hits I've done. So I've managed to do 3 hits for a grand total of 641 into the enemy AMX 1390. The last hit was for 135, and this little skull and crossbones means that you got the kill on that tank as well. Down in the bottom here, just where I'm circling there at the bottom left of this big mini-map, when you get shot, it will also show you down there, similar sort of thing, how much damage you've took, who it was from, and also what kind of ammunition they're firing. Now, there's not really massive amounts of information out there for the EU server as regards what mods you can and can't use. I think 99.9% of the people with mods are using something like that on this server. Check your server, make sure that you're allowed to use those mods, because I do think I remember reading somewhere that you're not allowed to use mods. I think it might have been the North American server, where it shows you what type of ammunition that they're firing. To me, it makes no difference what they're firing. I couldn't care less whether they're shooting me with HE, AP, heat, whatever. It really makes no odds at all to me. Just don't get shot. That's the advice there, guys. Don't get shot at all, and don't worry about it. So moving on from that then, we've also got the enlarged minimap. Now this comes up when I press control, and this is obviously helpful when you want to click on something that you haven't got to find it on a smaller minimap to the right. To enlarge your minimap to the right there, you just use the minus or plus keys on your number pad, and that will either grow it or make it smaller. You can also go into your settings in your garage. I can't remember exactly how it is, but if you go on and have a little play around with it, you can actually make it more transparent or less transparent as well. And that's particularly helpful on just helping you tweak your screen, get your HUD the way you want it, and able to make the most out of it. But going back to this big screen, obviously when you hold down your control button, it's very easy then to quickly click on what you want to bring attention to, or sometimes if you're just spotting or bored or whatever, you can press on that and it brings up a bigger map and it's easier to watch. So that's pretty much it for the mods that I wanted to talk about. That's more or less all I use. There is hundreds and hundreds more. You can add in gun sounds, engine sounds, HD maps. You can change this box down here. Your 6th sense, my 6th sense icon and noise is a little bit different. You can add that in there. What else is there's voice packs. The voice packs I absolutely love, and I do play around with them sometimes, but when I started doing the YouTube videos I turned them off, because otherwise you're going to have Homer Simpson or Jeremy Clarkson chatting away in the background, and it's just distracting to some people, so I've turned the voice packs off. But yeah, that's pretty much about it that I use for my mods. As I said, we've had a nice little game there. We've only managed to do 871 damage ourselves. We did manage to pick up a green WN8, but the interesting bit's coming on the end screen, so we'll see you there. Okay then, so onto the end screen as promised. Now I do apologise for the wife's advertising there. She's been on Amazon looking at boots by the looks of it. So what were we looking at? We got the patrol duty medal. Oh, what is going on with my talking today? Honestly, you'd think I was drunk. Patrol duty medal. Now, this is the first one of these I've ever got. It's for enabling your team to damage or destroy at least 6 enemy vehicles by you spotting them and you alone spotting them. So that was quite an interesting one I'd not seen before. We did manage 3,643 assisted damage. And remember, you get experience points and also credits for all the assisted damage that you do. So even though it's somebody else paying the expense to shoot them and doing the hard work, you're picking up cheap XP and cheap credits all along the way. As you can see also, we managed to pick up 1,664 on the WN8, so not bad at all. There's your team scores for you. We did 939 XP, so we're not far off being the top on XP, which just also shows that you don't have to do a massive amount of damage yourself in order to get a good XP score. Onto the detailed report, and we got 37,320 credits of profit, and yet we only fired 9 shots. 4 hit, 4 penetrated, 5 went off into Wonderland somewhere, God knows where they went. With the times 3 of the day, we picked up a nice experience count there. Again, very nice game to play. and I hope that we will see you all soon. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for another video in the next few days. Take care.